All right, and you are back. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I know you got a bunch of different options, different things you could be doing right now, and you are investing in yourself and your ability to date well and to flirt. Hey, if there's any other topics or issues within relationships or dating you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments section. So you're going to know the theory. It's not rocket science, but you have to practice, rehearse, get in reps, master the information, make it your own, and move towards excellence. So again, this is the Singles Mingle flirting sequence, pacing towards more intimacy. You lead them and give them permission to go deeper with you. You can tell me anything you want. That's the vibe you're giving off while you assume familiarity with them. Tell her your secret. After a few dates, it could include a secret desire or a secret fantasy. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite the other to join us. So share something that's a secret, and she may feel the desire to share hers in order to equalize. Timing is important. Somebody asked me what pacing was, so let me just give you a quick description of it. Pacing means that you match her, you mirror her, and then you see if she unconsciously will mirror you back. As a counselor, we do this all the time, or at least some counselors do it all the time. I often will breathe the way that my client breathes. This helps me feel into their world. When I breathe the way that she's breathing, I get insights into how she's feeling. If she's shallow breathing, and feeling anxious, in part due to shallow breathing, I match her and then I feel anxious. As I'm matching her for a few minutes, I slowly change my breathing. I move it to a longer exhale than an inhale. You might not realize it, but that relaxes the body. So if I count in to the count of 4, I take a breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I hold my breath for the count of 6. Then I breathe out to the count of 9. That's the 3, 6, 9 breath. So think about this. It relaxes your body. So as I'm relaxing, the mirror neurons in her, it's contagious, the mirror neurons in her will cause her to relax. Often, when she sees the way that I'm breathing, her body will then mimic my breathing. So if I pace and mirror her first, then what will happen is she will start following me. At least most people. Most people will then follow my breathing. Not everybody will, but most will. Then comes the sigh. She lets some of the anxiety and stress go. So I've mirrored her, and now she starts mirroring me. I can set the pace from here. Hey, it's awkward if you do it poorly. Please practice it because it is not a natural way of doing things. Before you do it on a date, practice it with friends, family. I've actually done that with my dog. It's kind of funny. Put him right to sleep. As I get more relaxed, the person with me almost always gets more relaxed. Now, again, there is no one size fits all, so people might not. But if you're mirroring and building rapport this way, please make sure it's somebody that you want to attract. I've done this and built a bond with someone, and then I realized, ooh, we're not right for each other. That can make the breaking up or the disentangling a lot harder. All right, so speaking of mirroring and pacing, think about this concept. Really try this on. Women apparently have been taught not to compliment us. So as a guy, if she's not complimenting you, she may have been taught this. We assume that when they compliment us, it means they're into us. They are taught to reserve the compliments. So if she is complimenting you, either she didn't get that memo, or she really, really likes you. What if we mirrored that? Try on the concept. Don't compliment her the first time you meet her. The traditional guy social rules are that you compliment her. If you don't follow the rule, you intrigue her. Usually guys compliment me. She's saying this to herself, wondering why you didn't compliment her. I like my outfit. Maybe he didn't like it. Maybe he doesn't find me attractive. Why didn't he compliment me? He's probably used to a higher status woman, or maybe I'm not attractive enough, or maybe I talk too much, and she's really getting into her head. So you can use this to torment and to torture and be mean and cruel. Not what I'm saying at all. But guys, women overthink just like we do. Oh, and maybe I talk too much? That's almost a guaranteed statement you're going to get that. Come up with a response to that. Make sure it's witty and engaging. So as a counselor, whenever you said, hey, maybe I talk too much, my reply is, all right, well, your copay is, and everybody laughs. So the next date. So imagine not complimenting, and the next date, consider complimenting her just a tiny bit, then moving on. You might start with, hey, I've been meaning to tell you, your passion for, and then you fill in the blank, really stands out. Your meta communication, your communication about the communication is big. You just communicated that you were thinking about her in between your first and second date, or third and fourth, fifth and sixth. Out of sight, out of mind is so common in the online dating. Wait, she was out of sight and she was still in your mind? Aw, wow, maybe he really likes me. So the most common game in relationships is the push-pull. Not everybody does it consciously. As a matter of fact, I think most of us don't. And often due to our relationship with mom or dad, it's an issue. It's an attachment issue. There's a whole field of study called attachment theory. It's not really romantic at all. It's worth knowing, though. The distancer and pursuer. Let's say our parents distanced themselves. We were little. We would pursue them. We'd follow them. We'd touch base. It felt kind of weird to not touch base. Maybe it was scary, or maybe they were avoiding us. If they were avoidant, and sometimes they were there for us, sometimes not, so that would be the anxious attachment. If they were avoidant and they didn't meet our needs, maybe we learned that they would not be there for us. I'm on my own. I'm not going to have any needs because they're not going to meet them anyway. Or the anxious, sometimes they'll meet my needs, sometimes they won't. So I always have to check out the situation, read the situation, evaluate it, see if I'm safe, see if I can ask for needs, and any need I have might feel a little bit needy in a bad sense of the word. At an early age, we may have come to a conclusion that we were on our own. I can't rely on them. I can't rely on the connection with them. It does not feel secure at all. Or maybe we learned that conflict was so dangerous. Let's say I was angry or upset, so they left me alone. Go have those feelings in another room, or you're wrong to feel that way, or you shouldn't feel that way. All the invalidating statements of the old-fashioned parenting that just, we know is harmful. So some carry this into adulthood, and let's say I forget to update my conclusions, kind of like not updating my phone. So I'm going into adulthood with a 2-year-old or 3-year-old mindset on some of this stuff. I didn't check it out. I didn't reality test, so I didn't update my information. So imagine this person in an adult romantic relationship, and they're not relying on you ever. They don't receive, they avoid conflict, and they have really mixed feelings about getting close. Maybe they're just having sex, but not actually making love. They don't want to connect during that because they are the distancer. When somebody distances themselves, might be a tendency to pursue them. So is that natural? Do we pursue them? Is that a learned response? What if we allowed them to distance themselves? All right, I'm here. I'm secure where I am. You know where to find me. And again, you're saying this in your head. You'll come back when you want. But the anxious person, if your attachment is more anxious, and sometimes they were there, sometimes they weren't there, so you always have to read the room, the anxious attachment personality will pursue the person who created distance. Quick note on this. It's not like you're avoidant 100% of the time, or anxious 100% of the time, or secure 100% of the time. We go in and out of these. Lots of good theory out there on this. So the anxious person will pursue the person who creates distance. If he's moving away in order to get distance, and she pursues him, he moves away again. She moves toward, he moves away, she moves towards, he moves away. Each is seeking their optimal distance, their preference. So talk about it. Imagine being direct. Hey, I noticed there was conflict, and you seemed to move away. That's the third time, so I think it might be a pattern. Can you help me understand that? So notice it wasn't contempt, it wasn't disgust, you're not blaming the person, you're not yelling at the person, you truly want to know, you're curious about it. Hey, it looks like you want space more often than I do. Can you let me know that you want space? Reassure me that we're okay, that you're recharging your batteries, and maybe let me know when you think you'll be back. No guarantees, but just, hey, I'll be back. I need an hour, or I need 3 hours, or I need a day, or whatever it is that you think you need. Let's talk it through. That would feel reassuring to me. The distancer-pursuer dynamic is to be used momentarily during an interaction, not constantly if you're using that in the dating and flirting. Please know that this can trigger people, and other people seem to love it. Be careful with this, though. This is powerful. Hey, we're here in relationships to help heal each other, not hurt each other. This is the real purpose of relationships. We're here to help each other grow up and to heal. We're not here to harm and destroy people. You're likely to hurt people inadvertently because that's life and that's part of dating. I remember reading to my boys. So when you think about flirting, think about this. I remember reading to my boys, and one of my sons would say to me, "Ooh, a stick chapter." You and I might call it a cliffhanger. I want more. It's tempting to just go ahead and read the next chapter because it left you hanging. Or you could enjoy the feeling of it left me hanging. You could delight in the anticipation. But if you have anxiety, that might not feel as good. It might actually feel awful. It's your job to manage your anxiety, whether it's relationship or just life in general. I might try and be respectful if you tell me about the anxiety, but primarily it's your job to reassure, to self-validate. I can add to that, but your feelings are your responsibility. So imagine a date that has that stick chapter or the cliffhanger. The anticipation is high. Maybe there's a push-pull involved and you left him hanging. That might not feel so good. Be careful how you play. That might be playing with somebody's emotions. So check your motivation and see if it was received well. It might feel like abandonment, or it can have a mean flavor to it. I've seen people, it's like, oh, I was just teasing, but it was mean teasing, not fun teasing. So communicate. Practice coming back from it. If you're somebody who has abandonment issues to start, please go to counseling. Please go to counseling. Stay there until you've worked through the abandonment issues. It's almost impossible to be successful in relationships if you don't heal and resolve the abandonment issues. You will attract people. You'll enjoy the part until there is perceived or real abandonment, and then it's tormenting. It's torturous. So please do the work. All right, so imagine this. Oop, gotta go. And then she quickly withdraws. That's a game some people play. Are they dealing with anxiety, though? Maybe she got a text from the kids. Was her other boyfriend contacting her and she wants to go there instead because I'm boring her? Context matters. In the absence of information, we make up stories in our head. If the story I'm telling myself is that she did that because she's meeting another guy, what's your guess about my feelings, my excitement about seeing her again? If she works in emergency services, my story might be that she got called into work. My feelings change based on the story in my head. Either way, I tell my story to myself, and that's how I create the feeling. Please note that pattern. The pattern of the stories that you tell yourself. If you keep making it catastrophic, that story in your head, oof, what are you creating? You are the author of your stories. You can make your stories reassuring, validating, tormenting, anything in between. Why would you torment yourself? Why would you do that on purpose? I don't get that. How would you practice the leaving of a date? All right, when I leave a date, I want to leave them on a high note. I want to leave her wanting more. I don't leave when it's at a lull or we're bored because I don't want her last memory to be that. I want her to think, oh, I wish she didn't go. Oh, I got more energy, more time. We have so much more to talk about. Oh my gosh, I forgot to ask about, or hey, next time I got to tell him about this. All right, so practice. How you leave might need some more practice for the timing. How you leave could be more subtle, more nuanced. And then how do you say it? What words do you choose? I'm exhausted. I need to go to sleep. I get up really early for work. Well, that's nice and that's reassuring. And once you're in a relationship, that's really good. But check out this one. Oh man, I got to get back to the house before my handler realizes I snuck out. That's a little more playful, unless she thinks you're serious. Yeah, that whole witness protection program thing, man, that's my handler is off the hook. If she's literal, don't use this one either. My parole officer, oh man, she said she was doing some random stops this week, so I gotta go just in case she's checking out my house. Huh, well that was fun, but I do have a sock drawer that won't organize itself. It's less overt, and you're leaving her wondering, did he really just leave me to organize his sock drawer? Do it with a big smile, and she might appreciate the playfulness. Or imagine you're in the relationship for a little bit longer, right? So it's not early dating. Hey, that was time well spent. I really like you. I can't wait to see you again. Depending on the timing, that exact thing could be a turnoff to some people. And if she doesn't feel the same way towards you, or maybe she doesn't think that she earned that, turn off. Once you're in a relationship, it's sweet, reassuring, she loves it, but timing's important. And remember, one size does not fit all. So how do I practice this? Come up with some words to use and memorize them. Practice them in your mind. Try them in real life before you try them on a date. Practice, practice, practice. So that's the theory in a nutshell, right? So practice, 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 because knowing the theory is good, but if you're not practicing it, it's not yours. In order to achieve mastery, how many hours of practice do you need? And remember, practice it correctly. Just practicing, if you're practicing it incorrectly, is going to make it worse. So every time you practice this in your head, you see yourself practicing it correctly. That's the process visualization. And then see yourself succeeding, which is the goal visualization. Focus on seeing yourself successfully implementing it. All right, so here I am. I'm dressed nicely. It's the way that I feel confident. My confidence, it's not dependent on anything outside myself. I determine how confident I feel. Drill that into your head. You are responsible for your confidence. Nothing from the outside has to affect you unless you choose, unless you want it to affect you. You smell good, you look good, the conversation's going well. You see yourself doing it great, maybe perfect, who knows. It gets the results that you're looking for. So you're picturing it, you're feeling the feeling of it going well. Your brain has no idea whether that happened in real life or if it just happened in your brain in this thing that we call reality. If you're interested in maximizing this effect, keep replaying that video in your head over and over. Make sure you feel the feelings every single time. Your posture, your voice, your humor, perfect. You are in flow. Every visualization helps your confidence. It also makes it more likely that you're going to follow through and do it that way. So we're talking 5 reps, 10 reps, 100 reps, your choice. Pay attention to the emotion. You are in control of your emotions, your confidence. Confidence is not contingent on their approval, on their acceptance. Confidence is not dependent on outside influence. No matter what happens around you, you can maintain your confidence. If you realize it's an inside game, confidence does not rely on an outcome. So now you've rehearsed it, mastered it, and you're moving towards excellence. It's worth the practice, and practice feels good. Dating has some anxiety for most of us. Imagine playing with that and taking care of your anxiety by practicing. Imagine having your confidence at a healthy level where no matter what happens on the date, your confidence remains intact. My confidence is not affected by a date. A date means nothing. My confidence is an inside job. Hey, if it doesn't work with this person, that has no impact on my confidence. Not everybody fits. What impact does that have? If we tried to not hurt one another and played by similar rules, so everyone understood what was happening and we eliminated some of the guesswork and mind reading, dating would be so much better. If you like this, please hit like and subscribe. Consider sharing it with a friend. It helps me spread the message of good, respectful dating and changes the culture of dating. Want more resources? Check out boyscounseling.com.